Ayo, I thought I would continue where I left off, where I was previously building essentially essentially what I wanted to look like a steam pipes from a previous society that had already been here, and I kind of explained that I wanted my region to look like that it was previously occupied by villagers that had been sort of like culturally pushed out as a result of my own society that's moved itself in, which is much more industrious and high tech. And and by doing that, I wanted to leave like remnants of old steam pipes and exhausts dotted around the terrain, while also being mixed in with my own. So kind of like a clash of cultures aesthetically between the two. And so I'll continue doing that and just kind of building more of those pipes along the way to kind of fill in the areas that are a little more blank. But I thought while doing that, I might play a video from this podcast that I found that have recently been offering some relatively troubling opinions in contrast to the great Eric July's comic book industry that has started off. And unfortunately, um, to offer the name of what this podcast is called, I think it's called The Drunk and Unpleasant. Um, Drunk being this gentleman, former wrestler, Ben Pye, although he's taken off the mask since he's, physically no longer as fit as he once was in performing in the wrestling arts. Although he is associated with another gentleman who's extremely attractive, a blonde dude from Canada, and very fit, very good at his art. He dresses like I believe it's some kind of a feline, a tiger or lion or something, but pristine ability, unlike Mr. Drunk Ben Pye, washout from his career, gentlemen. Anyways, they've been going after two individuals in particular who happen to be in the Eric July camp. So I thought it might be fun to kind of watch some of the banter that they offer and have some responses to what they might have to say. Again, just to reiterate, the podcast is called Drunk and Unpleasant. The drunk being Mr. Ben Pye, and the unpleasant, of course, being the gentleman named William. Uh, what is he? A washing machine? I can't recall the appliance right away, but yeah, and William, just to kind of touch on him a little bit, he's kind of like this sad um, washout of a rapper or whatever. I don't know what he used to do. Um, but yeah, he prides himself on his ability to spit rhymes or something. But really, when it comes down to it, with every podcast that I watched, you can clearly see that through his inability to express his own opinion, due to the drunk Ben constantly interjecting and cutting him down and talking over him, that he just dies inside, and um, and William will refrain from offering any further commentary that's contrary to his peer. Um, so really, you're only getting a show of an opinion from one individual, which happens to be this former wrestler who is now a drunk. Um, anyways, let's see what they have to say.
Oh,
What
okay.
are
Oh, and keep
these?
in mind, I don't
Uh,
have
I'll
the
pull them up because I have
second
them
monitor
where I can
option
like
at the
zoom in
moment.
on
I'm
them and we
still
can
kind of
read
an
them.
up and
But
coming
this is where he
content
leaked
creator
his own
myself.
DM
So,
history.
so here, the
And he
drunk is
leaked his
going on
DMs and has
about
leaked his
the
DMs.
leaked DMs while he's toking it up and making us all wait for 10 minutes or more for him to
There we go.
get his act together before he can
I could
actually
never
say
miss your
anything about the
first
content.
jackpot stream. Oh, thank
But
you, Herbert. I'm feeling
um,
like shit
the
right
drunk
now.
is gonna say something in regards to like the DMs being offered openly for anyone to ridicule and consume when it's very obvious that the individuals that he is criticizing I think he goes by the name I don't know, some kind of zero. but and they're calling him Sturkey or Sturges something, and now, in my opinion, it's like that information was released to a very specific audience that he had designated, this Sturges individual, and what the drunk has done has gone out of his way to stalk and seek that information and then post it on his own broadcast to an audience that Sturgis did not intend for that information to be shared to. So effectively, that is stealing by his own admission, by Sturgis' own admission and declaration that was not intended to be openly shared to just anybody, but specifically to his own audience. So let's see what Ben has to say about that.
What if he has COVID or something here? I can see Brittany Karina in the chat right now.
In our chat?
No. In his chat that's
damn.
on screen.
We're gonna see how this
I
goes.
thought Britt
and
was
see if
coming to
they
watch
come-
us.
This is why when you stream, you should have at least one other monitor.
I'm wor-
As a regular thing.
I already
When it becomes
offered
a
my
regular
counter
thing,
argument
we're
on
gonna do
that.
it
I'm working
Sundays
on it.
and
I'm working on it.
All right, so that's that for the clips.
Oh, is that all you have to say about the
Here
clips?
is him. This is a screenshot from his own
Oh God.
Discord.
Yeah. His
Like the
own.
first
You said it
line
yourself.
in
His
the
own
You can also see all
Discord.
the servers that like who's in his DMs too. Like Jesus was a hipster is someone he's been DMing. Here's Poop Donkey. I'm just looking up and
Young
down.
Poop.
But Brittany Karina, that's his main squeeze,
Now,
I guess.
so what the drunk's going to say
Right.
here, he's going to
Yeah.
ridicule him for having what he calls his main squeeze, which is, it's effectively it's his online boo, is what we call it. It's like a girlfriend exclusive to online. Now, the only reason I could think of that the drunk is really all that upset about it is because he doesn't have this for himself. I mean, it's obviously an expression of copium on his part, internalized jealousy projected out in a form of attempting to cut down this individual, clearly and only because he disagrees with his position, his opinion in regards to the finer arts of comic book creation, as Eric July has demonstrated. So rather than countering any of the opinions that Sturgis has on the subject, instead he's going to address the fact that he has like an online girlfriend, which is, like I said, it's very obvious that it's an expression of his own insecurity. So let's hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah,
She says
yeah.
at him to feel you humping my booty. He says, I do it every day to you, Brittany.
I mean, who wouldn't though?
She says, I do so much to make you happy every day.
Now-
every day.
Now, William
What else?
here,
It's just like,
he's
what?
mocking him, but then he even openly will say things in the same regard of accommodating for the feminine needs, and then he'll call himself a sweet boy for doing so. Meanwhile, it's very obvious right now he's being nothing but what I would call a sour boy. He's being a sour puss about the experience that the Sturgis is having with this other individual in order to accommodate her needs. So, pretty contradictory there. High level of hypocrisy. You should think about that, Mr. Fridge.
And why? Because you feel like I'm the best choice and you wouldn't want to lose it?
Oh
Like,
my
you don't-
God.
You really want to ask a girl when she's talking about making you happy every day? You want to be like, oh, because you feel like I'm the best choice? Am I the best choice? Am I a good boy? Am I the number one doggy? Do you want to pet me? Fucking pathetic, dude. And I care about you, and it would make me happy to make you happy.
Okay, it would make me happy to make you happy. Now, if that isn't like the most honest, direct expression of what a heterosexual man would do for his lady partner, and then to say it in like a mocking tone like that, as if it was something that's contrary to what one ought to do, while also claiming to be a sweet boy and accommodating for women's needs in your own way. What's pathetic about that? Everybody goes about their accommodations in a form that best suits them. So again, I'm just not seeing the validity in the Fridge's the Unpleasant's attempt at mocking Sturgis on this. It's just not landing, unfortunately.
Oh, you're too cute. No, you. You're beautiful. No, you. And then I guess he's doing the emotion for bear, emotion for cuddle.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hope you have a wonderful sleep, baller.
Now,
And she wakes up and says, "Hey, hope you are doing."
now, Mr. Unpleasant, the thing that's a very kind thing to say to someone, and it's one of the simplest things that you can say to someone because sleep is so important to anybody's well-being, psychologically, physically, all the above. So, for him to express some sense of, for Sturgis to express some sense of gratitude for her well-being, again, it's just another level of accommodation that goes beyond the usual just wanting to sleep with someone kind of. And, you know, and that's fine if somebody wants to engage in sexual recreation exclusively without the accommodation of well-being or comfort. It's not for me, but hey, that would be the thing. Maybe that's the thing for you, Mr. Unpleasant, but not for Sturgis here. No. He goes a step beyond the usual flirt, and even expresses concern for her well-being, in the most pentacle way, which is sleep. You know, sleep deprivation, which I might be experiencing right now, is it's a very important factor of anybody's overall health. So again, Sturgis is one up once again. This might be, 5 for Sturgis and 0 for the Unpleasant. I don't know. Let's see.
Doing well. And he says, "Hell yeah! Just visited Miller's Ale House and got a ribeye
This
served
is so
to me by a
cringe.
beautiful blonde."
This is so cringy what he says here.
There's
And then
nothing
after
cringe
he
about
after he
this.
mentions the beautiful blonde that had to bring him a steak.
Okay,
for
so he
her
has a
job.
particular preference, right? And we all have preferences. Blondes aren't for me, but more power to those who do. So this is clearly Sturgis admitting openly, again, because he's a very honest individual, admitting his personal preference in physical attributes, and he's sharing them with a peer that he's intimately involved with. I mean, this is the kind of information that most couples would share amongst each other, so long as they have reached a level of intimacy that is comfortable and is with consent, and which the DMs clearly, which I shouldn't be allowed to see because it's private, but which the DMs clearly illustrate that level of intimacy. So this is just more copium. This is just more of them attempting to project their own insecurities in a way that is to mock their opponent rather than address the opinions that Sturgis has provided. So again, let's continue with what the Unpleasant has to say.
Replies with, "Wish you were the beautiful blonde serving me a ribeye."
Yeah,
And then
perhaps,
hour
but
plus
that's
goes
for
by,
them
or
to
hour goes
determine.
by,
The two of
hour
them.
plus. I hope that didn't upset you.
Well, see now
How
that
did the appointment go,
okay,
Brittany?
so him double checking about whether that upset her or not. That's him. Again, that's just him accommodating for her well-being. He said he admitted something that may have been a little bit more, perhaps had tempted the boundaries of their open expression, and he had a concern that that when she didn't respond within a timely fashion, he checked in on her. That again, that's what sweet boys do, Mr. Fridge. What sour boys do is mock other men who are able and capable to check in on the ones that they care about and their well-being, especially after an exchange of words. Like, it wasn't even anything physical. He just expressed an opinion. He, of a physical liking, and she didn't respond, and so Sturgis was checking in on her. So that's 6 for Sturgis over the Unpleasant once again, who claims to be a sweet boy, and I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
And then almost 2 hours goes by, or whatever, hour and a half goes by. "I want to fuck the shit out of you while we play Jack."
Oh, okay, all right.
What
well,
a romantic guy.
Okay, I'll give them that. That was, I mean, maybe that's their jam, but considering the lack of response on her behalf after after what Sturgis had said about the other woman, to then follow up with that, yeah, that's a little troubling. But again, maybe that's within the boundaries of their communication. Again, we don't know, and we shouldn't know because these are private DMs, as Sturgis has already openly expressed.
Go ahead and do some jackbox and back shots.
God.
And then Brittany says, "Just got home, gonna hop in." Hour later, damn.
Yeah, so
he was
yeah.
he was sweeting around. He got the no show on that, and then she comes back, says, "Gonna hop in on some jackbox." I want to fuck the shit out of you while we play jackbox.
Yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
just had a beautiful blonde
All right.
forced to serve me a steak that I undertipped her for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
wish I was
Just cope a little
undertipping
bit more, Mr. Unpleasant, please. Which, by the way, what does
I
the
have
drunk
no
have to say
words.
other than chuckling and
As a
giggling?
libertarian, I don't think we should be tipping waitresses, no matter how blonde they are.
Mm-hmm. They got nothing. They got nothing.
All right.
If you want my money, you better work for me.
Oh, is the
Get a
drunk? Is
job.
he about to say
That's the
something now? Is he
libertarian
going to
way.
cut
We
off
don't
his
tip, we
his
hire.
peer like he always
We're out
does?
here giving jobs.
Like the content's
Here's
running dry.
one last thing from Sturgis. It's him reacting to when Mint Salad was on our show.
Oh.
I'm gonna skip
Is he
that.
like the
We'll do
booba?
clip
Does
of
he mention? Oh, she wasn't having the booba out that episode.
No.
She had the
stuff here.
Clipaverse. Internet?
Oh, he's really mad about the Clipaverse stuff.
It's gotta be true.
Well, he should
Oh.
be.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Clipiverse
They gotta
is
say.
clearly
So, Goldie-
is clearly a copyright infringement, which is exactly why it should have been shut down. Because the great Eric July has every right to protect his own label or brand from such just blatant disrespect. So, yeah, the Clipiverse, which is for those that who are unfamiliar, is a play on the phrase Rippaverse, which is it's a creative genius outlet for the great Eric July's career as he's coming along as an independent comic book writer. So, yeah, and being that he's at the beginning phase of his creation, any kind of detractions such as copyright infringement and the debasing of a product name or label needs to be addressed immediately. So, yeah, good on him.
Tom wants to know what's the Clipaverse. And I think that's a good question. A lot of
Oh,
our
I
fans
already
are
explained
familiar
it.
with the Rippaverse, Eric D. July's
One
comic
step
book
ahead of you
universe
guys.
that consists of
Good job, though.
currently one comic book.
It's
It currently consists of 2 comic books. Actually,
he means 2 issues, right? Is he saying like 2 issues
He
of
means 2 issues.
I mean, it is
but
one.
I
It's
meant
one
comic
whole.
book because I didn't know 2 had started shipping yet.
My goodness. Drunk. It is. Yeah, they're books. They're comic books, which are also issues, and there are currently 2 of them released. What's the point of contention here? Like, what are you even getting at? They are books. They're literary. They have binding, and they're comics. They're comic books.
Yeah, it's out there.
if you want to include Yaira and Alpha Core #1s, it technically consists of 4 comic books.
But those aren't out yet,
Right.
Papa.
Oh, but they will be.
But remember, we're dealing with stupid people.
It consists more of a warehouse than anything else. The universe.
Well, the Clipiverse
It's
is
actually
instead-
kind
go
of
ahead,
cool
dude.
when you have
Express it.
exactly
Explain.
as many warehouses as you have issues.
She
of
like
comic
stalls
books
for
released.
like 10 minutes.
That was cool.
Clipiverse, right? Clipiverse.
And the drunk and the unpleasant won't give her a moment to speak when she clearly has
They
more
all
to say
say
than
that.
they ever do.
The amount of just like random assumptions is unbelievable. They have to do that because there's nothing in the basis of reality that they can go to. So he has to be like, oh, she's high on something.
She's just a woman. That's how women think.
Clippa.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. I'm
Clippers.
high, so I don't.
Shave
care
Eric
about
July. Riley's bit right. That got him off of Twitter.
Right, it's copyright
That's not
infringement.
right.
Yeah, let's-
All he
And
did-
we had merch, right? I handcrafted this logo.
You did not handcraft
actually-
anything.
Actually, she
You
did.
literally took Ripa's logo.
Actually, she did, and the artwork was really impressive, by the way. Which is why I'd rather hear her talk about it than have the drunken unpleasant sit there and keep interjecting. But no, this is where she gets a point on Sturgis here. She certainly handcrafted that artwork, and then paid for the commission for the clothing to be made by all rights. That is her work, but it is plagiarized. It is a plagiarizing of a brand and label, which the great Eric July has every right to protect.
You erased the R and put a C and an L. That's not being creative.
That's actually
Do you not
that's
see
actually
the clippers?
really creative.
The clippers that are there?
Yeah, and
Those are clippers.
he mentions
Clippers.
that, but there's so much stuff that you can look at in ISOM and be like, oh, Eric July got that from here. You know, there's so much of it. It's even in the new ISOM comic, there's a character that very much resembles Pitt, which was one of the first Image Comics characters. Like,
Yeah, but
he's like
all,
big
all
monster-looking
content is
character.
inspired by other content. Like that's especially within the creative outlet of movies and comic books and illustrated media. Like everything is based off of some. It's all inspiration, and that's always been the case. Hell, even Lord of the Rings was inspired by an event, although not fictional, but was inspired by something else, which was the World Wars. But still, like all content, creative content, especially within the fictional realm, is inspired and based on something else. So to try to mock someone with that's just your own podcast is an inspiration from a former podcast from an individual who shall go unnamed, but still, like, even your own content isn't that original. So who exactly are you mocking here?
I'm not sure what he's called in the Ripaverse comic, but they look very similar.
Feel it. And
It's
you
called
added
Brad.
new razors. That's not creating anything new.
Yeah, it actually
You
it
literally
really is.
stole
Sturgis.
this
You're gonna
man's
have to let
logo.
that one go.
And added
called
She's
parody.
she is highly
It's actually parody.
creative.
That's
This is
not
She is
exactly
a
parody.
fantastic content creator in general.
For those that don't know,
Ma- ma-
parody
I mean,
is when you copy
just, you
something
can't
for
address
a
her as-
comedic or a
as right as
added
you
effect.
typically are.
When you
you're
mirror
wrong on this
something
one.
with a change that changes it for political comedy, any sort of reason that it makes it effectively a variation or a commentary of the original piece.
Yeah.
Made it with love. Hand drew it myself. Okay. So
You didn't hand draw anything.
Yes, you did.
You didn't hand
You don't
draw
know that.
anything.
it is.
I mean,
Because
it
she
certainly
can show
looks
us
like
how
she did,
she hand drew it like this. Doesn't mean she didn't hand draw it, Papa.
I find it criminal that he DMCA'd the website, took down all the Clipiverse merch, and actually nobody bought it except for us, just to confirm.
Yes, because no one cared.
No,
They
no,
would rather
it
buy
was-
official merch.
I mean, somebody cared
No,
enough
again,
to
it's
DMCA.
no. It was a creative inspiration of her own will, and she has every right to utilize it in the fashion that she so chooses. She has every creative right to do that, whether it's for herself or anybody else or otherwise. Even if the great Eric July has also every right to defend his brand label, but to outright say like it's because nobody cares, that's just disingenuous. Sorry, Sturgis, you're just wrong on this one. But the drunk and the unpleasant are even more than wrong. So.
Hey, it.
Yeah, somebody definitely cared. Puss over there cared.
Yeah,
Understand the terrible merch. That is.
I mean he wouldn't have
trying to
had
copy.
such an visceral reaction if he didn't.
So
care.
are you saying it's terrible because it's copying other terrible merch? I mean, like,
Oh,
To be honest,
meta,
it,
though.
it, it,
and,
it kind of
and Eric July or his people did
it
this
did
direct.
kind of copy the entire Clipiverse. It was only 2 comic books short of actually copying the entire Clipiverse.
Right?
beyond the logo.
Yes,
That's all they got.
Alex J. Miller, specifically, is his financial advisor.
Wow.
What a prick.
Yeah. Yeah, and since we're on the subject, I do
But I
want to
mean, you know, he has
talk
every
about
right to do that,
Sturgis
but
for a
yeah,
minute
she
here.
could do that.
And he's like, nope. He's like, nope, time to go to the next thing.
Young puss. Oop, I gotta get away from this. No. Don't look him in the eye. If you don't look him in the eye, he can't get you. It's
Again,
the
so
boogeyman.
at
No,
this
no,
point,
no.
they're not addressing his concerns
So
at all.
everyone,
They're
please
just
like the
mocking
stream, and this is
him,
the moment where
doing,
I'm going to remind everyone.
you know, like verbal
Please
commentary
check out
to make him
the
sound
audio
foolish
version
as
of the
a
show.
former
We put
ridicule.
extra content on there
So
for
unfortunately,
free.
the Drunken
And
Unpleasant
all you have to
nothing
do is
to
either
offer.
find your favorite podcast audio platform, or you can visit the link that it's down in the description, but I'm actually going to post it in the chat right now too. If you want to check it out, we do a pre-show before almost every episode. We recorded one before this episode, which means a new one will be available sometime later tonight after this stream ends. Go there,
Yeah, that'll
check
be
it
worth our
out,
time.
binge watch them, let them play in the background.
Oh,
Do
they're-
that
yeah,
as
that's
much
about
as
all
you
I
can,
ever do is
because
just
it
have it play in
supports
the
the show.
background. It's
The
not like
numbers
I
are
actually
going
want
up.
to sit
We're
and
getting
watch this
new
stuff.
advertising offers because of it. It helps us out, and it costs you nothing. So please,
Except my patience
please
and tolerance.
consider doing that, and follow
psychological
that link in the
tolerance.
description right there. We talked about some fun stuff with Vito for 15 minutes before the last episode, and we hung out with Magicus and talked about some interesting stuff before this episode. So check it out. We're gonna move on to
Magicus is extremely talented,
Luke.
by the way.
Luke.
And he's always right.
I think he calls himself Luke the Duke. But I am gonna. I choose to refer to him. You know how we gave Sturgis the nick. Well, I didn't give it to him, but Hannibal gave Sturgis the nickname Sturgis.
Yeah, I mean
I'm
now
gonna
they're moving on
call
to the
this
next
guy
guy.
Luke. He
Even
looks
I
like
don't
a
want to try
Kendall
to address
me.
this gentleman
I'm gonna-
because he
I'm gonna
is
refer to him as
so
Kendall
cringe that he
from
even
now
makes
on.
the Drunken Unpleasant look good. Anyways, I just wanted to hit on that a little bit to kind of illustrate just the level of ridiculousness that these two have when it comes to attempting any kind of ridicule or commentary in contrast to somebody else's opinion of the work of the great Eric July. So, yeah, just let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. It really helps me out. Feed the algorithms. And until next time. Drunken peasants are awesome.